Good morning. Alan, our usual speaker, is away on vacation. He's camping with Liz, so the elders have asked me to fill in, and here I am. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. To get started, I'm going to ask Daniel to come up here. And Daniel is just going to stand right in front there. Yeah? No, a little bit more. A little bit more. You're good. Okay. Daniel's going to stand just there. He's not going to move or say anything. And this is just going to be used to illustrate a point. Now, my job will be to go from one side of the room to the other side of the room through Daniel. We'll see how this goes. Apparently, Dustin cannot go through Daniel either. Daniel, thank you for coming up. In life, sometimes we go and we hit points where we can no longer go further. Something stops us, something holds us back, we hit barriers. This morning, I'm just going to ask you to all stand up. I want to challenge you, and I want you to do something for me, if you can, that is. I want you to turn around, say hello to a neighbor, say good morning, and then tell them a barrier that you're going through that you have in life. Yeah. Maybe the barrier is you have no car to drive to work. Maybe it's something else. Just say hi and mention something that you're having trouble with. A barrier that you have. Once you're done, you may sit down again and take your seat. Thank you for humoring me with that. So this morning, again, I want to talk to you about barriers. Hopefully, you've talked to someone, you've gotten to know their barriers, vice versa. Keep that in mind as we go through the lesson. And we'll see if this PowerPoint works. There it goes. John 16:33. These things I have spoken to you so that you and me, you may have peace. In the world you have tribulation, but take courage. I have overcome the world. Jesus spoke these words to his apostles. He hadn't gone up to the cross, but he saw them plainly that he was a God. And he told them plainly that they would face tribulation. They would suffer hardships, and they would need to overcome things. Really quickly, barriers are just circumstances or obstacles that keep people or things apart. It can prevent communication, or it can prevent progress. Now, if you have a Bible, I want you to take out that Bible. Take it out. And we're going to turn to 2 Corinthians 11, 16-33. 2 Corinthians 11. Okay. And we're going to have someone read that passage to us. Kim, if you can.
I repeat, let no one take me for a fool. But if you do, then receive me just as you would a fool, so that I may do a little boasting. In this self-confident boasting, I am not talking as the Lord would, but as a fool. Since many are boasting in the way the world does, I too will boast. You gladly put up with fools since you are so wise. In fact, you even put up with anyone who enslaves you or exploits you, or takes advantage of you or pushes himself forward or slaps you in the face. To my shame, I admit that we were too weak for that. What anyone else dares to boast about, I am speaking as a fool, I also dare to boast about. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they Abraham's descendants? So am I. Are they servants of Christ? I'm out of my mind to talk like this. I am more. I've worked much harder, been in prison more frequently, been flogged more severely, and been exposed to death again and again. 5 times I received from the Jews the 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I was beaten with rods, once I was stoned, 3 times I was shipwrecked. I spent a night and a day in the open sea. I have been constantly on the move. I've been in danger from rivers, in danger from bandits, in danger from my own countrymen, in danger from Gentiles, in danger in the city, in danger in the country, in danger at sea, and in danger from false brothers. I have labored and toiled and have often gone without sleep. I have known hunger and thirst and have often gone without food. I have been cold and naked. Besides everything else, I face daily the pressure of my concern for all the churches. Who is weak and I do not feel weak? Who is led into sin and I do not inwardly burn? If I must boast, I will boast of the things that show my weakness. The God and Father of the Lord Jesus, who is to be praised forever, knows that I am not lying. In Damascus, the governor under King Aretas had the city of the Damascenes guarded in order to arrest me. But I was lowered in a basket from a window in the wall and slipped through his hands.
Thank you. Currently, I'm trying to buy a house. I'm searching. I've been looking. According to my realtor, I've seen 33 properties. So I've not been shying away from looking around. And looking for a house comes with its own fair share of troubles. I have to see if I can qualify for the house. I have to make sure my finances are in order, paperwork is in order. I have to make a decision, and with it comes a lot of turmoil and trouble. And once I have a house, I have to keep it up. I have to pay my mortgage, and I have to just continue to be diligent with my finances. All of these comes with itself hardships. However, these hardships are really just my own personal struggles, but it compares nothing to what Paul suffered, as you have just all heard and read. In life, we're going to go through barriers, and sometimes barriers can be difficult. They can be hard. And I think it's just important to know that it's something that we have to go through. It's something that we can't avoid. Going to Philippians 4, 10 through 14. But I rejoice in the Lord greatly, that now at last you have received your concerns for me. Indeed, you were concerned before, but you lack opportunity. Not that I speak from want, for I have learned to be content in whatever circumstance I am. I know how to get along with humble means, and I know how to live in prosperity. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of being filled and going hungry, both having abundance and suffering need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Nevertheless, you have done well to share with me in my affliction. We have just read about Paul's afflictions, about all the hardships he's gone through. Here, Paul shares how he bends, how he adapts to his circumstances. Earlier, me and Dustin tried to go through Daniel, and it didn't work out that well. Sometimes we hit a wall in life, and we just keep trying to go at it. We don't seem to go around it because we're stubborn or our own pride. I think that one thing we can do is learn to be like Paul more, to understand that we're going to go through afflictions and to adapt to them. But the question remains as to why. Why do we go through afflictions? Going to Romans 5. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. Going through James. Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Sometimes I'm so focused on the hardships I'm going through, I can forget that there's a reason for it. Sometimes I'm focused so much on the hardships that I forget that there's a reason for it. That being that I'm becoming better. That being that I'm growing. That being that God allows this to happen for a reason, so that I may grow and grow closer to Him. Continuing on, 1 Peter 6:1, 6-7. In all this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief and all kinds of trials. These have come so the proving genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. Continue again. James 1, verse 12. Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, for once he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him. There is a reason why we persevere under trial, why we hit barriers. It's to build ourselves up. Oftentimes we read stories from the Bible. Take Joseph, for instance, sold into slavery, wrongly imprisoned. Take David, for instance, a man after God's own heart, who the king tried to kill. Or take Jesus, for instance, who died on the cross for our sins, something that he did not deserve. In each circumstance, as we hit or face something, and in each circumstances, we can either choose to prevail, to go around, to adapt, to trust in the Lord, to pray, or we can falter sometimes. First Corinthians 10:13. No temptation has overtaken you but such as is common to man. And God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will provide the way of escape also, so that you will be able to endure it. Sometimes I forget that trials, barriers, tribulation, sometimes I forget that I can overcome. Earlier we read Paul, through Christ who strengthens him, can overcome. I think it's important to remember to not get caught up with what we face with the world. I'm going to invite you to stand one last time. Earlier you shared with someone else a barrier that you're facing, a trial. I want you to go back to that person and I want you to tell them that you can overcome. Yeah. Encourage each other, love each other, hug each other. You may be seated once you've done that. There are many trials and barriers that we face in life. Sometimes it can be a lot for us to bear with. Sometimes it can just be too much. Usually at the end of lessons or sermons, there's an invitation for those who are suffering, for those who are having a hard time, to come forward and to ask for prayers from the congregation. I encourage each and every one of you to take opportunity of that, to have the saints pray for you. Because if not them, then who else? During the same time, it's an opportunity for you, for those of you who have not had a chance to be baptized, to have that, to take action, to do something different. This morning, I'm going to keep the lesson short, and I'm going to encourage each and every one of you to take some sort of action, to pray for each other. Please do this while we stand and while we sing.
Bowed me to despair. I oft complained to Jesus how folks were treating me. And then I heard him say so tenderly, my feet were also weary upon the Calvary road. The cross became so heavy, I fell beneath the load. Be faithful, weary pilgrim, the morning I can see. Just lift your cross and follow close to me. I work so hard for Jesus, I often boast and say, I've sacrificed a lot of things to walk the narrow way. I gave up fame and fortune, I'm worth a lot to thee. And then I hear him gently say to me, I left the throne of glory and counted it but loss. My hands were nailed in anger upon a cruel cross, but now we'll make the journey safe and mine. So lift your cross and follow close to thee. O Jesus, if I die upon a foreign field someday, 'twould be no more than love demands, no less could I repay. No greater love hath mortal man. These are the words he gently spoke to me. If just a cup of water I place within your hand, then just a cup of water is all that I demand. But if by death to living they can thy glory see, I'll take my cross and follow close